Time is the silent companion of our lives, invisible yet inescapable. It shapes our memories, defines our history, and promises us a future. But what is time really? A simple ticking of the clock? A human invention to measure change? Or is it the deepest law of the cosmos, binding all that exists into one unbroken flow? From the moment we wake up to the moment we sleep, we are aware of time's steady march. Seconds stretch into minutes, minutes into hours, and hours into days. Yet no matter how far we try to hold on to it, time slips through our fingers. This is the greatest mystery of existence. Why does time only move forward? Why can't we step outside of it? For thousands of years, civilizations have struggled with this question. The ancient Egyptians studied the stars, building massive temples aligned with cosmic cycles. To them, time was eternal, an endless repetition of life, death, and rebirth. The Mayans created intricate calendars that mapped not only seasons, but cosmic ages lasting thousands of years. In Greece, philosophers debated whether time was an illusion or the ultimate truth. But alongside philosophy, myths hinted at a deeper dream, traveling through time. Legends speak of gods who stepped outside the present, of heroes who vanished for days but returned to find centuries had passed. In Hindu epics, a king visits heaven for a short stay, only to discover that hundreds of years had flown by on Earth. Time travel, it seems, is not just a modern obsession, it is a timeless human desire. Fast forward to the modern age. Writers like H.G. Wells gave shape to this dream. His novel, The Time Machine, imagined a vehicle that could leap forward and backward across centuries. Since then, countless films, books, and stories have explored the possibilities of bending time, visiting the dinosaurs, altering history, meeting our descendants, or even preventing disasters. But beyond fiction lies science, and here the mystery deepens. Albert Einstein changed everything when he revealed that time is not fixed. His theory of relativity showed that time and space are woven together into a single fabric, space-time. Gravity and motion warp this fabric, stretching and compressing time itself. Think of a mountain. At its peak, gravity is slightly weaker than at its base. A clock on the mountaintop will tick faster than a clock at sea level. The difference is tiny but measurable. In fact, our GPS satellites orbiting Earth must constantly adjust their clocks to account for this effect. Otherwise, navigation would fail. This proves something astonishing. Time is not universal. It flows differently depending on where you are and how you move. This discovery leads us to the possibility of time travel. To move into the future, we need only harness speed or gravity. The faster you move, the slower your clock runs compared to others. At near light speeds, days for you might equal centuries for those left behind. In this sense, traveling to the future is not only possible, it is guaranteed by physics. But what about the past? Can we return to what once was? This is where science meets its limits. Some theories suggest that wormholes, hypothetical tunnels through space-time, might allow us to travel backward. Imagine a tunnel connecting two distant points, not only across space, but across time. Enter one side in the present and exit the other decades earlier. Mathematically, wormholes are possible, but physically they require exotic matter with negative energy, something beyond our reach. Quantum mechanics further complicates the picture. At the subatomic level, particles behave in ways that defy common sense. They can exist in multiple states at once, influence each other across vast distances, and sometimes appear to move backward in time. Certain experiments hint at retrocausality, where effects ripple into the past. Could the universe allow time loops on a microscopic scale? And if so, could we scale them up? Yet, time travel is not only a scientific puzzle, it is a philosophical one. Suppose you could go back. What would you do? Save a loved one? Prevent a tragedy? Change the course of history? These choices collide with paradoxes. The grandfather paradox asks, if you went back and prevented your grandparents from meeting, how could you exist to travel back in the first place? The bootstrap paradox suggests objects or ideas could exist with no origin. Imagine giving Beethoven his own symphonies or handing yourself a book you never wrote. Such paradoxes twist the logic of existence itself. Perhaps the solution lies in the multiverse. Instead of changing the past, you might create a new branch of reality. Kill Hitler in 1930 and you spawn a timeline without him, but your timeline remains unchanged. If this is true, time travel would not rewrite history, it would create infinite histories. But the idea of multiverses is more than speculation. Modern cosmology hints at them through inflation theory, string theory, and quantum interpretations. If every choice creates a branch, then all realities exist simultaneously, and time travel becomes a journey not backward or forward, but sideways into parallel worlds. Despite all this speculation, humanity is already a kind of time traveler. Every second, every heartbeat propels us forward into the future. Astronauts orbiting Earth age differently from us, proving that our movement through time can vary. Though subtle, it is real. In this sense, we are not asking if time travel is possible, but how far can we take it? Across history, mysterious stories feed our fascination. A photograph from 1941 appears to show a man dressed in modern clothing at a historic event. Conspiracy theories claim secret experiments during World War II bent time itself. Some travelers claim memories of lives in different centuries. While many of these stories lack proof, they reveal our deep yearning to escape time's grip. And maybe that yearning is the clue. Perhaps time travel will never be achieved with machines, but with consciousness. Could our minds, under certain conditions, step outside the flow? Near-death experiences, altered states, or dreams sometimes feel like journeys into timeless realms. What if the gateway to the past and future is within us? Science is far from finished with these questions. Physicists explore equations of space-time, quantum entanglement, and temporal loops. Philosophers wrestle with causality and free will. Engineers dream of bending reality itself. The debate continues, and with each discovery, the line between science and mystery blurs. Time travel may remain a dream, or it may be humanity's greatest discovery yet. The key to understanding destiny, rewriting history, and exploring eternity itself. Until then, we keep moving forward, second by second, moment by moment, traveling into the future whether we like it or not. And who knows, perhaps one day in some distant corner of the universe, we will find the doorway that lets us return.
We left off with a question. What if the doorway to time is already within us? What if time is not a prison, but a dimension of consciousness, one we barely understand? In every culture, there are stories of visions that defy time. Shamans claim to see the future in dreams. Prophets described events centuries before they happened. Some people experience déjà vu, a strange sense of living a moment twice. Are these coincidences of the brain or glimpses of a deeper reality where the mind itself transcends time? Modern neuroscience has begun to ask whether time is even real in the way we imagine it. Our brains do not experience reality directly. They collect signals, light, sound, touch, and assemble them into a story we call the present. But this story is always delayed. By the time we are aware of a moment, it has already passed. Consciousness, in a sense, lives in the past. If our perception is already shifted, could the mind also reach forward? Quantum physics offers strange hints. Some particles appear to know future conditions before they occur, as if information flows backward. Experiments with entangled particles show that when one is measured, the other responds instantly, no matter how far apart they are. Could such effects reveal that time is not a line, but a loop, where future and past constantly influence one another? The idea of closed time-like curves arises here. These are paths through space-time that loop back on themselves, predicted by Einstein's equations under extreme conditions. If they exist, they could allow a traveler to return to the past, relive a moment, or even meet themselves. But they also raise dangerous paradoxes. What happens when cause and effect lose their meaning? Could such loops destroy reality itself? Some scientists believe the universe has natural safeguards. The Novikov self-consistency principle suggests that time might resist paradoxes. If you travel to the past, you cannot change it. Every action you take will only become part of history, not rewrite it. In this view, the timeline is unbreakable, and free will itself may be an illusion. Others argue for the opposite, that every paradox creates a new branch, a new universe. In one world, you return and alter history. In another, the original timeline continues. This branching model removes contradictions, but at the cost of multiplying realities beyond comprehension. If true, every decision we make spawns infinite versions of ourselves, each living a different story. Beyond the science, we must ask, what would it mean for humanity if time travel became real? Imagine governments with the power to change history. Imagine corporations selling trips to the past, or the wealthy buying access to future knowledge. Wars could be fought not for land, but for timelines. History would become unstable, rewritten again and again. Could civilization survive such power? Even if time travel never becomes practical, the pursuit of it transforms our understanding of the universe. Black holes, for example, are not just cosmic monsters devouring matter. They are laboratories of time. At their event horizons, time slows almost to a stop. To an outside observer, anything falling into a black hole seems frozen forever at its edge. But from the perspective of the falling object, time continues normally. This dual reality shows how strange and flexible time is. And then there are white holes, the theoretical opposites of black holes. Instead of swallowing matter, they eject it. If black holes connect to white holes through wormholes, then perhaps they form bridges not just across space, but across eras. To step into a black hole might mean stepping out into another universe or another time. Cosmology also asks whether the universe itself has a timeline. Did time begin with the Big Bang, or does it stretch infinitely into the past? If time had a beginning, what was before it? If time has no beginning, how can it exist without end? These questions push science to its limits and philosophy to its deepest mysteries. Some thinkers suggest that time is not fundamental at all. It may emerge from deeper laws of physics, like temperature emerging from the motion of molecules. If so, time travel may not be about moving through an existing dimension, but learning how to reshape the underlying rules that create time itself. Technology, too, teases possibilities. Particle accelerators recreate conditions close to the birth of the universe. Quantum computers hint at manipulating states across timelines. Futurists imagine devices that could send information into the past. A stock tip, a warning, a single message. Even if human bodies never travel, what if our knowledge could? Would that not change everything? And so we return to the core mystery. Time is not just a measure of change, it is the canvas on which reality is painted. To master time is to master existence. Whether through science, philosophy, or myth, humanity continues to reach for this ultimate key. But every step forward reveals new questions. Is time travel freedom, or is it a trap? Do we change destiny, or only fulfill it? Perhaps the truth is both, that time is a riddle, and we are both its prisoners and its creators.
Paradoxes are the shadow side of time travel. They reveal the cracks in our understanding, the places where logic itself begins to collapse. And yet, they are also the most fascinating part of the mystery, because they force us to question reality at its very core. The most famous paradox is simple to explain, but impossible to solve. Imagine stepping into a time machine and traveling back decades. You arrive in the era before your parents were born. You meet your grandfather as a young man, and then, by accident or design, you prevent him from having children. What happens next? Without your grandfather, your parents are never born. Without your parents, you are never born. And without you, there was never anyone to travel back in the first place. This is the grandfather paradox, and it has haunted physics and philosophy alike for generations. Some say the paradox means time travel is impossible. The universe, they argue, cannot allow contradictions. Others propose that the universe always protects itself. If you travel back, you may meet your grandfather, but somehow you will never change the crucial events. Maybe the gun jams, maybe fate intervenes. Maybe your actions only fulfill the history you were trying to erase. This is the idea of self-consistency. Time can bend, but it cannot break. But what if paradoxes are not errors, but doorways? Consider the bootstrap paradox. Suppose you travel into the future and discover a great invention, a time machine. You copy the design, return to the present, and build it. Who invented the time machine? You or the future inventor? In this loop, the knowledge exists without origin. It has no creator. It simply appears, cycling endlessly through time. Could history itself contain such self-created loops? Philosophy and science fiction have long played with these ideas. In one story, a composer receives a mysterious notebook of music. He studies it, publishes the songs, and becomes world famous. Years later, in old age, he travels back in time and gives his younger self the same notebook. The music was never composed. It simply existed in an endless circle. Such stories challenge our deepest assumptions. We believe that time flows in one direction, that causes lead to effects, and that every event has an origin. But paradoxes suggest that time may not obey these rules. Instead, it may fold back on itself like a river bending into loops, where beginnings and endings are illusions. Cultures throughout history have also told stories that echo these paradoxes. In Japan, legends tell of a fisherman who visits an underwater palace. He spends what feels like a few days in its glittering halls, but when he returns to the surface, centuries have passed. His family is gone, his village is unrecognizable, and he is a stranger in his own homeland. Time in his story flowed differently, bending between two worlds. In Ireland, a similar tale describes a man named Oisin, who visits the land of eternal youth. He lives in happiness for what feels like 3 years, but when he returns, he discovers that 300 years have passed. When he sets foot on the soil of Ireland, he instantly ages, crumbling into dust. Again, we see the paradox. How can one man live in two different clocks at once? Even in modern times, mysterious accounts stir curiosity. In the 1950s, a pilot flying over the Andes Mountains reported entering a strange cloud. Inside, he saw landscapes that did not match his maps, cities that looked ancient, rivers flowing in odd directions. And then, as suddenly as it began, the vision ends, and he is back in the present. Are these hallucinations, tricks of memory, or tiny tears in the fabric of time? Science has no answer, but the fascination grows. Every paradox, every legend, every unexplained story adds fuel to the fire. They remind us that time is not as solid as we imagine. It wavers, bends, and perhaps on rare occasions cracks open. And if time can crack, even for a second, then perhaps travel is not only possible, but already happening. Perhaps the legends of gods, the myths of men who vanished, the strange accounts of travelers out of time, all are fragments of a truth we have yet to grasp. But if time travel is real, the question becomes not only how it works, but who controls it. What happens when individuals or nations or civilizations can move through time at will? Would they use it to protect humanity or to dominate it? Would history become a battlefield, rewritten again and again until no one remembers the original past? Time travel may be the ultimate paradox of all, the power to control destiny, but also the power to destroy it. It is both promise and threat, miracle and nightmare. And yet, despite all the dangers, we cannot stop imagining it. Because deep down, time travel is not just about science, it is about longing. The longing to see loved ones again. The longing to fix mistakes. The longing to understand where we came from and where we are going. It is about the human spirit refusing to accept the limits of mortality. And so, the paradox remains. We are trapped in the present, but our minds roam freely through the past and future. And perhaps, just perhaps, that is the first step towards unlocking the secrets of time.
future fell into the wrong hands. Markets could collapse. Wars could be triggered before they ever begin. Entire civilizations could be manipulated by those who know what comes next. Time travel, in this sense, could be the most. If you have traveled with us through this journey today, you are already part of the story. The universe is vast, the mysteries are endless, and together we will continue to explore them. So join us, stay with us, and step with us into the unknown. Subscribe to Animated Wisdom. Give this video a like and share it with those who seek answers beyond the ordinary. Because the adventure does not end here. This is only the beginning. The next mystery waits just beyond the horizon.
Imagine the chaos if knowledge of the future fell into the wrong hands. Markets could collapse, wars could be triggered before they ever begin. Entire civilizations could be manipulated by those who know what comes next. Time travel, in this sense, could be the most powerful weapon ever created, and once unleashed, it may never be controlled again. Yet perhaps the future holds something more hopeful. If time travel is possible, it could unite us with our descendants, allowing us to learn from their wisdom. It could preserve humanity by warning us of dangers, asteroids, pandemics, or wars before they occur. It could allow us to witness the birth of stars, the rise of civilizations, and the mysteries of our own origins. It could be not only a tool of survival, but a path toward enlightenment. And maybe the greatest revelation will not be in traveling back or forward, but in realizing that time itself is an illusion, that past, present, and future all coexist, woven together into a timeless whole. In such a vision, every moment that ever was and ever will be is still here, still alive, waiting to be seen. We do not move through time. Time moves through us. And so we stand at the edge of mystery. Time travel may remain a dream, or it may become our destiny. The answers lie in physics, in consciousness, in the strange and hidden rules of the cosmos. One day, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps in 1,000 years, we may discover the doorway that leads beyond time. Until then, we continue the journey. For whether or not machines are ever built, we are all travelers already. From birth to death, from moment to moment, we move relentlessly forward. Time's silent passengers carried into the unknown. And maybe, just maybe, the final truth is this: time is not our prison, it is our path. Not our master, but our guide, a river carrying us toward eternity, where past and future meet, and the greatest mystery of all awaits. If you have traveled with us through this journey today, you are already part of the story. The universe is vast, the mysteries are endless, and together we will continue to explore them. So join us, stay with us, and step with us into the unknown. Subscribe to Animated Wisdom, give this video a like, and share it with those who seek answers beyond the ordinary. Because the adventure does not end here. This is only the beginning. The next mystery waits just beyond the horizon.